Want to add thousands of dollars to your down payment? How about buying your home without your own cash as a down payment? In this video, we'll walk through 3 case studies showing how Canadians can take advantage of little-known strategies to get them into their homes years sooner. This is part 2 of our guide to the RRSP Home Buyers Plan, or HBP. If you haven't seen part 1, I would highly suggest that you watch it first because we get into some advanced scenarios here that might confuse you if you don't have the foundation. Before I continue, I have to give a word of caution. This is for general information and entertainment purposes only. The things that I break down here can be really effective, but it can also be extremely harmful. So be sure to consult your own advisor and your own tax expert before continuing with any of the strategies that you learn. This is not advice for anyone specific. Hey, if we haven't met before, I'm Hervin Pesa and welcome to the channel. I'm a financial planner, but just like you, I'm still on this journey to building wealth and financial independence. I post weekly videos diving deep into money lessons that we never really got taught in school. So if you're ready to take control of your money and want to join us in this journey as we all learn together, consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our sessions and our live Q&A sessions as we announce them. I also created a full playlist breaking down the first-time home buying experience here in Canada, and this is a part of that. So if you're a first-time home buyer or you know somebody that's planning to buy their first home, share this video so that others that could benefit from it learn a few lessons. So with that, let's move on to case study number 1. Somebody that has high income but doesn't have enough in their cash savings to buy their first home. Let's meet Brad. Brad is 5 years out of university and he enjoys the work he does, and he recently got a new role cementing his career in the company he's worked for. He used to travel a lot though right after school, but he was wise enough to crush his student loan debts and all his other debts, so his credit is excellent. This promotion also bumps up his income to $120,000 a year. But because of where his focus used to be, despite having a steady income, he has no savings for his home. This all changes though because he found out that he's about to become a dad. So now, setting roots and buying a home became a priority for him. Based on the market, the home that they would need is worth about $450,000, requiring a down payment of at least $22,500. So how can Brad use the RRSP Home Buyers Plan to buy his first home? Well, we actually have to combine it with a second strategy. Most banks have RRSP loan programs. In fact, you may have received a random offer for this around December, January, or February. They essentially want to lend you money so that you can dump cash into your RRSP and get a refund come April. Brad can then borrow $22,500 under one of these programs, but he needs to keep it in cash once he pours it into the RRSP, and he can't touch it for at least 90 days. On day 91 and beyond, he can then use the home buyer's plan to buy the home he wants. So let's look at the math on this. Let's assume that the RRSP loan charges a 6% rate and it's payable over 5 years. This means his monthly payment for the RRSP loan is $434.99. His total interest cost over the 5-year period is $3,599.40. The monthly payment is important because once he applies for the loan, the mortgage company will be checking his total debt servicing. Watch our video on how much you can get approved so that you can find out how your debts affect how much home you're approved for. But because Brad had no other loans, even with a $435 monthly payment for the RRSP loan, he still qualified for the mortgage he wants and got a rate of 2.25%, bringing his monthly mortgage payment to $1,946. So if I was Brad, I would simply consider the $435 as a part of my home financing, along with the home buyer's repayment of $125. I would just think to myself that my home payment is $2,505.99. It's important to remember though that there's 2 payment components. The $125 for the HBP is being paid to Brad and his future self, while the RRSP loan repayments are being paid to the bank. So that was a lot of work, a lot of shuffling, a lot of strategy. Is it worth it for Brad? Well, based on his needs, very likely, because it's a priority for him, right? But was the math worth it? Well, let's look at that. Remember that he makes $120,000 every year. If he makes an RRSP contribution of $22,500, he will have a tax saving or a refund of $8,070 if he's in Alberta. The cost of borrowing was $3,599.40 over a 5-year period. So he pays $3,500 to get back $8,070. That's 124% return, and he gets a new home. So I'd say it's worth it. Here's the crazy part. If Brad did all of this in January or February and designated the contribution for the previous year, he would get a refund by April. So he would actually have $30,570 for his home purchase. So this maneuver also gives him the cash for the down payment and the closing costs. So possibly worth it for him. So let's talk about why this was an effective strategy and why the RRSP loan with the RRSP home buyer's plan can work to get you your first home sooner. Let's look at Brad and his case study. Here's why it worked for him. His income was high enough to sustain the home payment and the loan repayments. The interest rate for the RRSP loan is relatively low. He's in a higher tax rate than the average Canadian. He had no other debts, but he's comfortable with good and smart debts. He had great credit. He also had more than 90 days to get his home, good employment history, and he has unused RRSP contribution room. To top it all off, Brad is a smart guy and is probably subscribed to my channel and watches all our videos. So what are the reasons why this strategy can be harmful and might not work for most people? There are other debts that needs to be paid off. They could be in a low tax bracket, so this doesn't make sense, where the interest cost is higher than the tax refund. The cost of borrowing itself could be quite high. They have subprime credit. They might not have a long enough employment history, and they can't afford the mortgage and the loan payment plus the home buyer's repayment. The next reason, the most obvious of all, is they are not subscribed to my channel. Just kidding. There's a few more that can blow this up. Essentially, if they have to have immediate possession and they don't have the 90 days to wait, it's not gonna work. I just gotta take a quick second to give a special thanks to a friend of mine, Rodel Jimenez. He told me that this first strategy is called a flex mortgage. If you want to tap into his expertise, contact him at rodeljimenez.com. You can check the links in the description and just let him know that Hervin sent you. Let's look at case study number 2. And it answers this question. What if you already have cash savings sitting outside of your RRSP, maybe it's in a TFSA, or you suddenly came into a cash windfall like an inheritance or a gift from a loved one? Let's see how you can use the RRSP and the RRSP home buyer's plan to boost your down payment. Let's meet Chris and Jackie. Their incomes are high enough to qualify for a $500,000 home. They also have $20,000 each in cash earmarked for their down payment, aside from their regular investments and their cash reserves. Chris has a $40,000 RRSP contribution room that he hasn't used yet, and Jackie has $45,000. Chris currently earns $75,000 while Jackie earns $70,000. If they both put in the $20,000 sitting in cash inside an RRSP and waited 90 days, they would be able to use the HBP and get a tax refund of $6,100 for each of them. Again, this works best if it's done in January or February so that they meet the 60-day RRSP window to make contributions count for the prior year, and they'll receive their refunds in April or May. That's when they can pull the money out to buy their home. See, by simply transferring their savings into their RRSP, they are able to boost their down payments to $52,200 instead of $40,000. That's a 30.5% return simply by waiting about 90 days. But wait, there's more. Now that they have a higher down payment, they would pay less on their mortgage insurance premium. At a $40,000 down payment, their CMHC premium will be $18,400. By using the RRSP and the HBP maneuver and putting in the extra money for the down payment of $52,200, their premium goes down to $13,882, saving them $4,518 over the life of the mortgage. By doing all this, they get an extra $12,000 and they save $4,500. They are up nearly $17,000 in the right direction. So what if we souped it up with a little leverage just like Brad? Let's look at case study number 3. So what if I already have some savings and I also want to use the RRSP loan to boost up my down payment? Will the home buyer's plan benefit me? What if somebody already has some cash but they also added borrowed funds just like Brad did? Well, let's meet Brenda and Joey. They have $20,000 each and they are willing to use all of that as a down payment to buy a house that's worth $400,000. Joey earns $110,000 while Brenda earns $90,000. How can they use the RRSP home buyer's plan to boost their down payments? Let's say they borrowed $15,000 each to get them to the $35,000 maximum that they can take from the home buyer's plan. At a 6% loan rate, they will have a monthly payment of $289.90 each, totaling to $580 every month, and a total interest cost of $4,798.80 over 5 years. But by dumping in $35,000 each in their RRSP, Joey gets $11,333 as a refund, while Brenda gets $9,904, bringing their total down payment fund or cash available to $91,237. So let's talk about how this strategy can add flexibility to their finances. Brenda and Joey really have 3 options. Maybe there's a few more, but let's go over 3. Scenario number 1, they can pay off all the loans and put the rest as a down payment, giving them a total down payment of $61,237 simply by doing this and waiting 90 days. That's more than $20,000 than what they started with. This saves them $614 on the CMHC, and their monthly mortgage payment is gonna be lower. Scenario number 2, they put in the $80,000 and save $11,237 for incidentals, furnitures, and maybe their cash reserves. By doing this, the need for the CMHC premium is eliminated. Goodbye, baby. This is a total savings of $11,160 throughout the life of the mortgage compared to just putting in $40,000. Scenario number 3, they can still decide to put in the $40,000 like they originally planned, and then they can pay off the loans. They won't have any savings on their CMHC or their mortgage payments, but they will have an extra $21,237 on hand. See, I can't tell you what the best solution is for them, but it gives flexibility. Remember that putting in a higher down payment will reduce the mortgage insurance premium and monthly mortgage payments. But if there's a loan outstanding, it's important for Brenda and Joey to consider their total cash outflows, not just the refunds, not just the CMHC savings. Depending on the loan and the mortgage interest rates, it may be possible and maybe cheaper to carry the loan if there's a significant difference in interest savings. I want to leave you guys with a reminder. Any strategy that uses leverage or debts or other people's money will simply amplify the risk and reward. This goes with investing and home buying. I just want to reiterate why this will work and why it won't. There has to be a significant tax benefit by adding the loan. But remember, adding the loan means adding liability, which will reduce qualifying power for approval amounts. This also means a lower budget, so you might have to downsize on the home that you want if you want to get into a home buying situation sooner. So really, this will only work for those whose income is high enough to sustain the payments for the RRSP, the loan, and the home buyer's repayment, and property taxes and other debts, if there are any. This also doesn't work if it's being done to supersize the house being purchased. This is simply one of those situations where a little bit of knowledge can do a lot of harm. So be sure to consult your own financial advisor and your mortgage broker. I hope this video was eye-opening. Stay aware, take control. I love y'all. Peace out.